Insight chapter 8 through 10. So I hope you guys enjoy this. So let's start off with the daily quote. So from here is actually part 3, and the quote is from Roy Disney. It's not hard to make a decision when you know what your values are. I feel like, how do I feel about that? So it makes me feel like if I know what my values are, I can make lots of decisions. If you have any thoughts of what you would think of when someone asks you, not someone, when you listen to this quote. Chapter 8 is the resurgence of ethical living. And the quote of the chapter is, "You do not know me," said Tortoise. "I am a changed man. I have learned that a man who makes trouble for others makes trouble for himself." That's the quote of the chapter. So I think that it means not to cause trouble to other people. That's what I think it is. And I learned from this chapter, like, ethical living. I learned ethical living, as the chapter says. And I learned how to live a life that doesn't not I learned to not be trouble to people and live a good life that doesn't trouble people. Because if, as the quote says, if you trouble somebody, you trouble yourself. And that's what I learned. The overall theme of this chapter, and actually let's do overall theme of all these chapters at the end. And first look, impression, ethical living. What do you think ethical living is? If you have any ideas, please comment. I will read them. I feel like ethical living, like, I'm saying this as a quote when I haven't read it yet, but I thought it was like how to live, not like how to live, but live a life that feels good for you. That's what I think it meant at first glance. And if you have any ideas of what you would think first impression, please comment. I thought why she wrote this is because I think it's because there are lots of people in this world, Some of them live happy lives, some of them don't feel satisfied. So I feel like it's for those kind of people who don't really know what kind of decision they want to make in life. I think that's why the author wrote this chapter. And how it ties up to me, well, I also make lots of decisions, like to turn. Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. Ethical living is a thing that doesn't cause people trouble. Okay, that's what you would think. Thank you for the comment. And how it ties up to me, I make lots of decisions, but I wouldn't say they're really like life-changing decisions, like to join this group or not at school. But maybe when I become an adult, this will become really useful for future decisions. Like, I can't really think of any decision, but I feel like you'll be really good for decision making this chapter. So, if anyone has any questions about this chapter, please comment. No, any comments? So I'm gonna move to the next chapter. The virtue of courage. Oh, thank you. Do you think the chapter can help you decide what kind of job? Oh, what kind of job to do? Well, yes, it could. I think it could help you decide what kind of how to make a decision. And yes, it would help me choose what kind of job I want to do. Thank you for the question. Okay, now it's chapter 9, the virtue of courage. And the quote of the day is, courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. So, first glance, what do you think the virtue of courage means? First I thought virtue is like the value, but reading the quote, I don't think it's a value, because I think maybe it's like a skill, because it says without courage you can't practice any other virtues. So maybe it is value, so we can't learn any other values, but I think it's like some kind of skill. If you have any questions, please comment. And if you're wondering, it actually means behavior showing high moral standards, is like how you behave. So courage is also like a behavior. It could also be like a quality. So I think it's actually quality, but it could also mean it's a behavior. So why I thought the author would write this. Maybe she has a friend, and that friend doesn't really have lots of courage. So maybe it's for those kind of people who don't have courage. They could learn from this book to get a little bit of confidence or courage in their lives, so they can learn other virtues consistently. That's why I think the author wrote this. And how it ties up to me, I don't think it ties up oh, yes, I do. I think I have the virtue of courage, because at school I talk a lot, so I feel like that's courage. Yeah, that should be courage, because if you're really shy, you need lots of courage to talk to people, like to speak up, So maybe some people were born not shy, but I still feel like you need lots of courage to speak up, to people or talk to people. I don't know. But yes, I think I have the virtue of courage. Thank you for the question. And what I learned that courage is not like something that you're born with or not born with. It's something that you build up. It's not, because not everybody has courage from the start. Maybe they do. I don't really know how it works, but I think it's something that you need to build up. build up in different steps. Just go little, and then you have courage. And if you have any questions for this chapter that you want to ask me or you want me to answer, please comment. Now let's go to the final chapter. Chapter 10. Values matter. Values matter. And this chapter, there's no quote. I can't see a quote. Yeah, there's no quote here. So, first glance, values matter. What do you think what that would mean? Values. Values can mean lots of things. It's actually the same thing, I would say. The value of money, the value is like a price. That's how I'll put it. I think it's something about your value, the value that you have in life. They have a value that you should never think that you don't have any value in life. So reading this chapter, I learned that everybody has a value in this world. Maybe sometimes you feel sad and you feel like no one cares about you, you don't have any value, but you shouldn't think that. You always have some kind of value that matters in this world. So you should not think that you don't have any value. I thought maybe why she wrote this, I think it's because of all the people who are depressed. Some people in this world are depressed and don't feel like they don't have a value in this world, but I feel like this chapter is for those kind of people who feel like they don't have any value and no one loves them. How can I create value in this world? So I don't think I can make it, but to start building relationship that gives people value, I feel like not like discriminating people, don't judge them, and lots of those kind of things. That's what I think I could use to bring value to lots of people. Does anyone have any more questions that you want me to answer or you want to ask me? So, since it's the end of the chapter, I want to talk about the overall theme. I feel like the overall theme is about adaptment. Like, if you're in a new school, you don't really have enough courage to talk to people. Maybe you do, but I don't think most people have. They are shy at first. So I feel like it's adaptment to your environment. I feel like I talked something about that in the last live stream, but that's what I think the overall theme is about. And what I learned from all these chapters, well, it's what I said, it's adaptment. And another thing, growth. So I feel like if you don't think you have value, if you don't have courage and those stuff, you won't be able to grow spiritually. You won't be able to grow how? I'll just say grow. That's what I think. So if you have any questions before we end the live stream, I hope you can ask now. Well, I can still check afterwards if you can't watch the live stream now. What should I do if I don't have courage? First, I feel like if you don't have courage, you should just try talking. I think that's how I think of courage, like to talk or to be non-invisible, like really visible to other people. Have a really strong sense, like when if you're behind somebody, they will just feel the joy inside you. So I feel like you should have a social interaction with people. So if you don't have any interactions, I feel like you wouldn't have courage if you don't have any social interactions. So that's what I think you should do. Well, yeah, that's what you should do. You should have a social interaction with people. If anyone has any other questions, I will answer them before. How can you make new friends? First, I I think most schools, you come up and you say what you like your hobbies, favorite foods, and when you say that, I feel like after that, maybe recess or spare time, you should go up to people and ask what they like too, because by knowing what other people like, you get a connection with other people, which I think you can make friends. Anyone have any more questions that you want me to answer? So I don't think there's any questions. I'm just gonna wait 30 seconds. If people don't want to talk to you, well, I just think those people are mean. If you don't want to talk to someone, well, there at least going to be at least one person that wants to talk to you. I don't think everybody won't want to talk to you unless you have a really bad reputation or something. So maybe if no one wants to talk to you, first you try maybe thinking what they think of, like try noticing what they think about you. I know you shouldn't care about what people think about you, but I feel like if people are really against you and they have something that's really bad, you should fix something. And maybe ask the teacher, like, no one wants to talk to me. Is there anything bad about me? Or maybe ask your parents if you find anything that you think that isn't that the people in your new school don't think that the reason why they don't like you. Ask your parents, the teachers, and do I have this trait that people are not liking me? I feel like that's a good start to making people talk to you. Just knowing what your flaws are and maybe fixing them. Or maybe you don't have, maybe it's just like unknown reasons that they don't want to talk to you. But I feel like that's the most good action you can do. Does anyone have any more questions? I can answer them. I think, unless it's not that complicated, I will answer them. Okay, 30 seconds timer starts now. Twenty seconds. Oh, thank you for the live stream. So 30 seconds have passed. If you have any questions, I think I can still see them after the live stream. So if you have any comments, I will check them and I will reply. So I'll see you guys next live stream. Bye.